This past weekend I saw Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, but no promises, you never know if this is truly The Last Crusade. My name is Steven, and welcome to a quick strike here on Hot Strike. The Indiana Jones franchise is an interesting one. It has 3 extremely beloved movies.
It was perfect.
The GOAT! The GOAT!
Then one people pretend doesn't exist.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
And now a 5th film, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. It would be impossible to talk about this newest movie without mentioning the 4th film, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, because the biggest problem I have with the Dial of Destiny is that it should not exist, but it did not create that problem. The original trilogy literally ended with a film titled The Last Crusade, and then it had the main character ride off into the sunset. It was just a perfect ending. Then for some reason Spielberg decided to fuck up his own film franchise and violated Gray for money.
Of course I am!
And the press tour for the Dial of Destiny was very aware of the bad taste the 4th film left in everyone's mouth. So much so, they barely mentioned it in all the trailers, and many fans were even quoted saying, "We need a better send-off for our hero."
We've been waiting for this one a long time. It is our grail. We are waiting for this movie to come out and a graceful ending for our favorite hero.
So, this movie only exists because the previous one was so bad, and to avoid making the same mistake, it decides to play it extremely safe. It isn't good, but it also isn't that bad, it just feels uninspired. The story is just plain boring, and at the end decides to have a moment that feels straight out of a Call of Duty Zombies map. Easily, the 2 best parts were Harrison Ford and John Williams' score. Harrison did not feel as old as I was initially worried about, and the de-aging process they used, although jarring in some places, was good overall. And, as always, Johnny Williams was amazing. Frankly, the main reason I wanted to see the movie was to listen to John's last film score. Truly, one of the greatest to ever do it.
Every single time, you just go, oh my God.
So that's what it did good. Now let's get to its problems.
Who gives a
In regard to technical standards, the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull did everything better than the Dial of Destiny, which may sound shocking, but I think people forget that the Crystal Skull was actually a good Indiana Jones movie until about the last 30 minutes when shit like this started happening. But up until that point, it was firing on almost all cylinders. It was shot on film and was able to match the lighting and shooting style of the original trilogy extremely well, unlike the Dial of Destiny that's shot on digital and lacks any character whatsoever. The story, like the first 3 films, uses Indy as the main character who propels the story along. In the Dial of Destiny, he often just feels like a bystander in his own story. Although most people didn't like Shia LaBeouf's character Mutt in the Crystal Skull, he and Indy played off each other extremely well. Mutt never overshadowed Indy in the slightest, and Indy still had many chances to prove how smart and tough he is. Unfortunately, the Dial of Destiny has the plot just kind of happen around Indy, and in many cases, he just feels like an old guy trying to keep up. Although yes, Harrison Ford is very old, Indiana Jones does not need to feel helpless. It's not the Indiana Jones we all fell in love with. I respect movies that at least take a swing and miss compared to never trying to step up to the plate in the first place. I wouldn't have believed this before seeing the movie, but this is my ranking of Indiana Jones movies, and to be clear, there's a steep drop from 3rd to 4th place. So was I personally insulted like so many other YouTube reviewers? No. Hell no. Sure, it's not great, but there are significantly worse movies out there. Will I add this to the list of Indiana Jones movies I pretend don't exist? Yeah, I think so. Because for me, when India rode off into sunset in The Last Crusade, the franchise ended. Unfortunately, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is yet another modern movie trying to rekindle the nostalgia of a previously amazing franchise. At the end of the day though, I rate Indiana Jones and Dial of Destiny a 4 out of 10. Still, it's not great, but it's entertaining in parts and a good excuse to go to the movies with your friends. If you have a movie or TV show you'd like to see a video about, comment it down below. Thanks for watching.